Hello everyone and welcome to a new Coach Dev Academy Lab Guide. I'm Corentin Guinez for SimRC and today we are on Suzuka for the third week of the Advanced Mazda MX-5 series. Of course we are with the MX-5 around Suzuka circuit. So yeah, as usual, first I go with your lap and then we will get into the details about this combo. So yeah, let's get started. Alright everyone, so here we go for the lap around Suzuka with the MX-5. So as you can see, we are done the start finish straight and then we are heading into the first corner. So as a reference, usually I'm always pretty much using the exit road on the left. This pretty much gives me the information of when I should turn, and I know that around that place I need to get ready to jump on the brake. I mean, when I say jump on the brake, of course it's not like going from 0 to 100, but yeah, it's like getting ready to brake into the corner. So with the MX-5, basically I'm bring the car next to the exit road, and then next to the exit road, a tiny bit before, I'm turning to the right, and then as you can see, once I'm getting into the corner, you can see that the car is flat, and then you are just going down the corner. At that time, you can see I'm starting to brake. So if I go slightly slower, track is flat, and then I'm going into the corner, and now I'm starting to brake. So this is pretty much what I'm doing going into turn one. I don't think braking too late is good, but also at the same time you need to make sure you're not braking too early because then you lose a lot of speed, you lose a lot of momentum. So at the end, as you can imagine, we are losing time. So yeah, with fourth gear, as you can see, I'm not really using the inside curb, but I don't think you are really using the curb, the inside one, with any car anyway. So yeah, as you can see, the braking curve is a bit weird, but I'm really trying to manage the braking, by, well, managing the braking, um, by considering how the car is behaving. So yeah, if the car is a bit loose or stuff like that, I will maybe brake a bit harder to get back the control of the car. But then if I feel that the car is in good shape, I can just release a bit the braking to get back the rotation. So yeah, this is the thing, I guess. Like the looser the car gets, the more braking I'm gonna put to get back this stability pretty much. But yeah, into turn one, I don't think there is really a way at this in the way I'm driving. I'm doing pretty much my own way, like I just do by feeling pretty much turn one. But yeah, in the other corners, it's a bit more normal, I would say. But yeah, in turn one, it's always a tiny bit different because the car behaves slightly different from a lap to another. So yeah, there is no particular way to take the turn one, except that you have to make sure. I mean, the braking point is pretty much the same all the time. But then, yeah, of course, it depends of how hard you are braking and stuff like that, how the car is behaving from lap to another, because one lap the car is maybe going to um, have a good grip, and then you are going somehow the next lap you're going to lose a bit of grip, so the car is going to slide maybe a bit more and stuff like that. So you have to always adapt maybe a bit your driving to how the car is behaving. So yeah, so into turn one on the braking, yeah, ideally, I guess you always want to keep the same amount of braking pretty much all the way. But at the same time, I think the MX-5 remains like a car that is almost without downforce, pretty much, I guess. So yeah, the car is moving quite a bit. So yeah. Anyway, I don't think you are always gonna keep the car like fully stable going into turn one with the MX-5. So yeah, it's already a bit tricky at times with other cars. I mean, not tricky, but yeah, it doesn't feel like really stick on the ground. So yeah. Um. So then as you can see, I'm just playing with the brakes, trying to get the rotation. I try to bring the car to the left, and then as you can see, I'm going the right-hander, releasing the brakes completely, trying to get the rotation, and then once I'm next to the curb, I'm going on throttle down to second, and then I will try to get the exit curb on the left, moving back to the right, preparing the S's. I stay with third. I dive into the first one. I'm trying to cut as much as I can. So as you can see, I'm almost going with the left wheels on the grass on the left, but I'm actually just using the the extra curb. I don't know how we should call that, but right, some sort of curbing. Then I stay with third as well for the right hander, which comes just after. So as you can see, still with third, just a tiny bit of braking between the two, but it's just for like getting a bit of rotation for the direction changes. But then I just go with the throttle. So yeah, I will just put just like this. Then back on throttle on the curb, just trying to make sure I'm I'm like just need to make sure you are slightly patient on the way out of this one, because you don't want to end up really next to the curb on the exit, because then you have to prepare the next left-hander. So yeah, then just like pretty much when you've passed the beginning of the curb on the left, then you can start to release the throttle, put the car into the inside. So basically this helps you to get some rotation as well. Like it puts pretty much the car on a rail, I would say. And with the edge of the curb, it does help the car to stay on the inside. So yeah, this is something I wouldn't recommend to do with every cars. With the MX-5 it's fine. GT4 I think it's okay as well. But yeah, I think with other cars like GT3s or maybe prototypes and stuff like that, I don't think it's the way to do it, because yeah, with the curb it can make the car slightly more unstable, I would say. But yeah, with the cars with maybe more ride heights, like the MX-5 for example, GT4 I think are slightly higher compared to the GT4. This is a line you can use, but sometimes it doesn't feel good. So it depends. It's also maybe driver preference, but yeah, with MX-5 it feels about fine. So yeah, I'm using this line. So as you can see, it helps a tiny bit the car to rotate, and as you can see, once I'm going into this, I'm putting the left wheels into this part, you can see if you go slowly that the car straight away gets some rotation. So yeah. Then for the S's once again, once we are done with this left one, then turning to the right, pretty much when you get past the beginning of the curb on the right side, you are releasing the throttle. I think we are almost next to the curb, to be fair. Yeah, next to the curb, actually. Just going off throttle, just lifting a bit, almost completely actually. A tiny bit of braking, but not so much. And then as you can see, I'm just trying to make sure I can keep the car on the inside. Back on throttle, dropping to second as well. I think it's so far we stay with third into the S's, but yeah, down this corner and on the way out, I like putting second because I think it gives me some extra power. If I stay with third, I think the car ends up being a bit lazy on power. So yeah, and then it goes also a bit uphill. So I want to make sure I get all the momentum possible to carry on this uphill part. So yeah, I really wanna make sure I can optimize what I'm on the power of the car. So yeah, stay on the inside, drop 2 seconds just right now, and then using a tiny bit of curb on the inside. But yeah, I'm not sure it does change something really. Just about optimizing as usual, and then on power, middle of the track. I can't really bring the car all the way to the right side because, as you can imagine, you don't have so much downforce. So I I basically, if I put the car all the way to the right side, I have no chance to make the corner without and I have no chance to make the corner because the front is not going to grip, and I'm going to just understeer into the gravel. So yeah, just make sure you are bringing the car a bit to the right, but at the same time, just make sure you're not compromising this corner at the end. Then, as you can see, putting third, trying to make sure I can be as close as I can from the curbing, and then on the exit, I'm not trying to go too wide as well. Ideally, you want to shorten the distance. So as you can see, once I'm done with the corner, I go to the left, trying to shorten the distance, just trying to not run too wide. And then we are going into this double right. So the first kink is really fast. You just brake around the 50 board on the left, going on the brake, down to third, going on the curb, and then once you are off the curb, you can go fully on throttle. As you can see, I'm going on throttle just on the curb, but not quite full throttle. I'm just waiting um to be back on the track to go back on throttle fully. So yeah, just about building up the momentum, and then once the car is off the curb, then I go on throttle. As you can see, using quite a lot of curb on the left. I'm putting the left wheels on the left, the green left part of the curb. So yeah, and the right wheels are off the curb. So this is the thing with pretty much all the cars you have to do. No matter which class you are driving, you always pretty much do this thing. So yeah, this is the same with any cars. So we said on the curb, carry straight. Then I'm going on the brake. I'm gonna try to use as much curb as I can. So the curb is ending. I'm going back on the track. I'm dropping to second, as you can see, just before turning to the right. So dropping to second, releasing the brakes, and then I just bring the car into the corner without the brakes because I don't think with the car it's a bit different. Like it doesn't feel like it's working the same. Like staying on the brake doesn't feel like it's the most optimal way to give you the rotation. I think once you are off any inputs, the car gets lighter, so it's really easy to make direction changes and get rotation. So yeah, ideally you wanna brake as hard as I can at the beginning, then you release the brakes, and then once the inputs are off, I would say, then it's easier to get the rotation. So yeah, um as you can see on delta, I don't think I'm braking so hard actually. I'm braking around 65% or something, or a bit less, but yeah, it's a really short braking, as you can see. I'm not trying to brake for so long. Like as you can see that as well here. Like you are not braking so much. It's not like massive braking zones. So yeah, it's a really short amount of braking here and there. So yeah, um, into the corner, off the brakes, and then once I reach the apex, going back on throttle, using the curb on the exit with the right wheels on the curb, but just make sure you are not going too wide. Obviously, I think if you put the right wheels on the very edge of the curbing, you will get the off track. But yeah, be careful with that, of course. Then we are on the left side of the track, and we will dive into the right side for the hairpin. So as you can see, diving to the right, and just after getting past the curb, once the car is straight. So yeah, pretty much when the car is straight, I'm using this reference, this line. Um, so I'm following this line, trying to put the car next to it, same direction, and then as you can see, going on the brake, trying to stay wide a tiny bit on the entry, down to first, and then I'm trying to get a late apex, early on throttle, trying to carry the momentum on the exit, and then I'm taking the curb on the outside on the exit. So yeah, this is pretty much what I'm doing for this one. For the braking around 70%, I guess, or so. Yeah, 75. So yeah, quite a deep braking at the end. And then as you can see, just releasing the brakes to find the rotation, and then mid corner pretty much going on throttle, trying to get the momentum on the way out. So yeah, as you can see, going tiny bit wide, first gear, trying to get sort of late apex, full throttle, trying to get the momentum, and then using the curbing on the exit, a bit of curbing, but not so much actually. So yeah. Then we will go into spoon. So far you stay on the right side, just trying to shorten the distance once again. And then we will head into spoon. So for spoon on the entry, I'm just looking at the exit road on the right side, so you can see this exit road, and I'm gonna brake slightly after that, so getting by the exit road, and then I'm going into brake. I will go down to third gear, so as you can see, down to third, and then I will be patient. I will just wait until I'm close to the end of the curb to go back on power, trying to bring the car to the outside. So yeah, that's what I'm doing in the first part, waiting for the exit road, getting by the exit road, going on the brake. I don't think I'm going too deep on the brake, to be fair. I'm just going about 55% or something, 57. So yeah, it's not a massive braking, and as you can see, I'm really quickly um releasing the brakes. So yeah, I'm not staying for so long on the brake. It's just about slowing down the car on the way in, then releasing the brakes to get a tiny bit of rotation, and then I'm just releasing the brakes there to really get the momentum, and at the same time it helps me to find the rotation. So yeah. Then like I said, I'm just being patient. I'm just trying to wait for the throttle, because of course if I'm going on throttle, I won't really get the rotation. It's not like GT4, for example. I'm doing the lap guides where I could go on throttle way earlier, because I could get that rotation on throttle. But this time I'm not really going to get the rotation on throttle. I'm likely to get understeer if I go on throttle now. So yeah, that's why I'm waiting, because if I go too early on throttle, I will get the understeer. So yeah. As you can see, close to the end of the curb, going on throttle, trying to bring the car to the outside. So this is why I'm going on throttle, because this time I need to get a bit of momentum, and also I need to make sure I can bring the car with enough speed to the outside. So that's what I'm doing. As you can see, just making sure I really put the car on the right side of the curb and not with the right wheels on the edge of the curb, because if I'm too close to the edge of the curb, the car is going to feel a bit weird. Like if you are just on the edge with the right wheels, the car can get unstable, or the car can behaves weirdly just next to the curb. So yeah, ideally it's better going slightly wider there, or not going wide at all, because if you are just in between, the car will get either unstable, or it's going to bounce a weird way on the curb, and it's going to send you like wide and stuff like that. So yeah, if you are going wide, just make sure you are going really wide, because if you are just putting, you see the left wheels just on the edge of the curb, it's going to be weird for you. So yeah, ideally wanna go like a bit more wide than just going like slightly wide, if you understand what I mean. Then after of throttle, a bit of of braking here and there, just trying to bring the car to the inside, and then once the car is on the inside with second, basically I dropped from third to second just before entering the right one. Just tiny bit of braking, tiny bit of throttle as well to put the car on the right line. And then as you can see, once I'm close to the apex, then going on throttle, full throttle as well. And then I'm just going to get the curbing on the exit, just a bit of curbing, and then we will go into the 130R, so the last really fast corner of the track, which is flat out with the MX-5. Nothing to really worry about. Just make sure you're not cutting too much, but don't be scared of going flat out. The front is there, so the car is turning in, and with the curb, as you can see, if we're doing it again, the front rotates because of the curb. So yeah, as soon as you don't miss the curb, it's fine. But I guess you have a very little chance to miss it, to be fair. So yeah, just make sure you're not cutting too much, obviously, because if you are cutting too much, there's a chance that you get an off track maybe. But yeah, if you do it just like that, it's fine. So yeah, and then same. There is just a little chance, but yeah, just be careful on the exit to not clip the edge of the curbing on the right side, because this is quite deadly as well. But yeah, to be honest, there is really a little chance that you really reach out to the edge of the curb. So yeah, normally you should be fine, but yeah, just in case, be careful. At least you know that it can be deadly if you go there. So yeah, and then we will go into the chicane. So I think I'm braking around 125 or something. I don't really have a reference, unfortunately, for this one. That's a bit like difficult to know where to brake, because you're not quite braking at the 100, but you're not quite braking close to the 150. And I guess I'm braking at 110 or 1.5 or something like that. So I'm quite close from the 100. So yeah. But with GT cars, maybe like I think you are braking pretty much in the middle, like between the 150 and the one in the 100. So yeah, like I said, I think it was Suzuka, or no, it was Bathurst. Um, of course, you are arriving with a lot less speed. So as you can imagine, your braking distance is a bit shorter, so you can brake later as well. So yeah, this is why with the MX-5 you tend to brake later, because yeah, you're not coming with the same speed as you can imagine. So yeah, around 110 on the brakes, deep on the brakes, but yeah, at the same time, like I said, you don't really need to like you can go deep on the brakes, because this is not first, you're not really trying to get the rotation in the first part. It's just about making sure you are slowing down the car enough to prepare the way in, so you can go quite deep on the brake into this one. You just have to make sure you are quick to raise the brakes when you're going into the first part of the chicane. So yeah, you can brake quite deep. So it's just about 75 or 80% on the brakes. And then as you can see, when I'm getting into the corner, raising the brake. But yeah, dropping to second and first for this one. So dropping to first, getting the first part of the chicane. So as you can see, I'm cutting quite a bit without cutting massively either. So yeah, as you can see, taking the inside, cutting with the right wheels, leaving I think a fair amount of track, like on the left, like between the middle of the car and the left wheels, there are like quite a bit of track left. So yeah, I think it's quite safe. I don't know exactly what's the limits. That's the thing. Into those corners, you are never really sure, especially when you go from a car to another one, from GT to MX-5, for example, or to prototypes. like you never really know what's the exact limit because the car they are not the same, they're not as wide. So yeah, it's always a bit difficult to understand what's the limit. So sometimes it's better to keep a bit of a margin instead of getting enough tracks. So yeah, so that's why I'm taking the first one. As you can see, back on power once I'm pretty much done with the curb, back full power, and then as you can see lifting just before heading to the left one. So as you can see, same, taking quite a bit of curb as well. And then once I'm off the curb, going full throttle. Ideally, you don't want to put massive amount of steering angle on the way out because obviously with first gear it can get a bit sketchy. So yeah, you want to make sure you are opening the steering as much as you can on the way out. Otherwise, you can get more oversteers than what I've got. And then, as you will see, putting second on the way out, putting second now, and then as you will see, I'm just trying to stay as short as I can to reduce the distance. Sorry, and we're right now crossing the line. I think it was the lap around Suzuka with the MX-5. Alright everyone, so we're done for today. That was the third week lap guide of the Advanced MX-5 series around Suzuka GP. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Coach Dev Academy channel and join the Discord server if you have any questions about all the work we are making. And from now, I see you next week for the fourth week of the season. So yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.